So my high school was the Auburndale Bloodhounds. Auburndale Bloodhounds logo. So my high school. And one of my problems is when I get my nose hot on the trail of what I think, I stick to it and then it ends up being wrong. So obviously I have to be very careful of that. What in the world? Hang on a second. So Jamie said Walter Payton, number 34, dies November 1st. He was 45. Yeah, boy, I remember all that. That was sad. Sad times, sweetness. But now that we know more about that world, what can you say? So Donnie Darko, I read very few books in my life. The Babe Ruth story was one. The Exorcist was another. The Godfather was another, because my parents maybe watched them before I could see the movies. I was a kid. Babe Ruth story was like the first book I remember reading. You know, they tried to encourage my reading. I was slow in school, not a very good reader. And of course, I wasn't bad. I was just out of private school. So, you know, you had to be good. If you fall behind a little bit, they'd crack that whip. But I mean, I won the Daughters of American Revolution Award my 8th grade year. And I made all A's and B's 7th and 8th grade. But I was a slacker early on. But I was this huge Doug Williams fan and read his book, Quarter Black. Doug Williams, Quarter Black. I would wait for him. Outside the locker room with my fiance and then first wife. It's Quarter Black. We'll key in back, but let's put the L in there. Quarter Black. It was about being a black quarterback. And my dad was very racist. He did not like black quarterbacks in the NFL. And he really hated that I idolized Doug Williams and was this huge fan. Well, guess who's in Donnie Darko? Out of every single NFL, after every single soccer player, baseball player, NBA player, football player that you could possibly have on the face of the earth, they plug in one athlete showing on TV and it's Doug Williams. I'm just like, what in the world? And he wore on the TV screen number 17 because he was with the Redskins. And that's what they were showing. Doug Williams, Washington Redskins. And so that's what they were showing. They were showing him in slow motion, dropping back and throwing a football. And they weren't doing good. They were like losing the game. And he went to Grambling. I was just a big fan, you know. And he had that cannon arm. I loved his leadership. I don't know. I was just drawn to him. Like I've been drawn to numbers and everything else. It was just, that was my guy. But with the Bucks, that's when I was, you know, when I began being a fan, because that was my team down the interstate. And his number is 12, which could stand for January 2nd. Donnie Darko. And then the 17, Donnie Darko, the wolf full moon. So it's the new moon on the 12th. Excuse me. It's the new moon on January 2nd, 1-2 for the 12. And then it's the full moon on January 17th. Now, January 2nd to the snow full moon is 45 days, which Valentine's Day is on day 45. But the snow full moon is on the 16th. And we're starting 2 days ahead. I just thought it was interesting, but it had 888 in the seconds. I guess if we're going to do that, you might as well look at the 17th. You know what we ought to do is look at the time of the new moon to the full moon exact. So hang on just a quick second for that. That is 117. It's 15 days. Ooh, 216, which is 6 times 6 times 6. And 36 hours, which is, of course, almost every new moon to full moon does that. Ooh, it's just a 15-day, it's just 15 days. So let's, 36 is a triangular number, 666. But let's add the time fields. All right, let's add the time fields. So hang on a quick second. All right, so let's key in the time fields at the exact time. So let me pause so I don't slow you up. It's 365 hours plus 16 minutes. But nothing that sticks out past Doug Williams' number 12, Donnie Darko movie, Doug Williams' number 17, Donnie Darko movie. And in 1959, Russia launched, or Soviet, Luna was launched on that day. Ronald Reagan was sworn in. I did gematria for Let's Go Brandon, and January 3 pops up. I have not looked at the gematria for January 2nd, January 2, 1, 2. There's a, obviously now that I'm fixated on a date, I'll end up, I'll start pinpointing a lot of things. It is 180 days after my birthday. And, 18 is 666. Let me see here. 313, the apocalypse. Come up to Let's Go Brandon. I watched Shaking My Head Productions do something on Let's Go Brandon. November 6 pops up with Let's Go Brandon. Finish the Wall, 68, which is his car number. Colin Kaepernick, which a friend just sent me. Truth Social pops up. Let's Go Brandon comes to Truth Social. Trump's new social. I can't wait to go to Truth Social. And I'm not going to get on there and say a word. You'll get kicked right off. I'm just going to go on there and watch. We'll try to pick up any predictive programming. August 8th pops up for Let's Go Branding for 88. The Economist pops up. I did it on my phone and did a screenshot. I was laying on the couch, and Storm Coming pops up. And Trump's birthday. To the January 2nd, 27596 days. I could get into all that stuff with my personal stuff, but I'm going to leave that. And there was something I came across and I can't find it. Oh, it's 473 days. If he goes down on the 2nd between when he goes down, and the abomination of desolation, April 20th. Because if he goes down on January 2nd, they were pretty sure that's about 16 months. Well, I'll tell you what it is: a year and 3 months and 18 days. 1 year, 3 months, 18 days. That's 1318. Well, that's the 666 Bible verse. Revelation 13, verse 18. Let me bring this up for y'all. Hang on just a second. Well, it's 11,350 hours, rounded down. Remember, there's 1135 is the number for wife in Strong's Concordance. G 1135, wife. It does remove the 1318 that I was looking for, or I was showing y'all. And it takes it down to 472 days. But it really would depend on what time he goes. But if you're looking at what time he would go down and what time he would rise, who knows? But if you do remove the times just for you do get the 1318 combination there. And it is 1518. The 5 is my marriage number. The 8 is my second wife's marriage number. And 518 was my 3-digit progression or second marriage number to her. But that 473, do you remember that girl I told you? It's a QAnon freak. And just believes Trump's going to come back and save everything. JFK Jr.'s alive. The whole QAnon movement. Bless her heart. And hey, that'd be me if that was what the Lord ordained. So I'm not hating on her. But, we do have to make fun of that movement. It's just insane. Well, her birthday, like I told y'all in a Sunday evening's video, was it was on the summer solstice, 6/21, 1963. Now look at her number. It's got the 473 there, and it would be 473 days since she's a Trump worshiper. 473 days for when he goes down. In her number is 473 days. That would be the new moon to the abomination. I mean, excuse me, him going down to him declaring himself to be God. The 2 in front of it, we would just change that to TO 2 473. Or if you just take the 473, you've got 2 of my numbers. Remember, my numbers were 2, 24, 27, 38, 42, 45. Which had everything to do with Earl and that whole situation, because he wore number 2. I've got pictures of him in his football jersey if y'all ever want to see that his number was 2, but I think I showed him to y'all once. But so, I mean, that's something. But the clincher of this whole thing is to go back to the portal date. This is something extra I thought of. If you put in the 8 into the portal and you add it, and you get that January 18th, which is really the Donnie Darko October 18th, or Donnie Darko's October 18th is really the January 18th, I guess is the way I should say it. But that again is when Donnie took the knife and started banging it against the glass, and the right eye started beaming, Frank's right eye. And then the waves came, like La Palma. And since White Horse comes to tsunami, Michael told us, and we believe him. White Horse comes to tsunami. Terms tsunami and white horse are tsunami noun. Can I class them destructive? White horse and tsunami are semantically. Wow, look at that thesaurus right there. They are synonyms. White horse, a wave that is blown by the wind and the crest is broken as it appears white. Tsunami and white horse are semantically related in the giant sea wave topic. You can use tsunami instead. You can use tsunami instead a noun phrase, white horse. Wow, that's just fascinating. Thank you, Michael, for that. And no, they do have clothes on. Sorry that showed up down there, but I can't control what they put. But that's just, so they show the wave in the right eye on the 18th. Well, if you portal back 8, which that's what we're all about, portaling. Now subtract it. You land on the new moon of January 2nd or October 2nd when Donnie actually died in the movie. Because October 30th has nothing to do with Donnie Darko dying. I misspoke the last video at the beginning and then I corrected it. I didn't know I misspoke it at the beginning, but I'm glad I repeated it and actually corrected it. When Donnie wakes up on the golf course, he is, in fact, dead. And he's rising. And which definitely makes, December 3rd, December 4th, tremendously huge days. And I did watch the YouTube video. And I will put it up here. Hang on just a second. And I told you this site was AI. And on the thumbnail, it's 18 for the 18th. But when you click it, it shifts to the 17th, which is the full moon. 1759. I think this is, without a doubt, an artificial intelligent YouTube site. I could be totally wrong, but that's just what my gut tells me. And now it's saying Darko, the eclipse, which also relates to right eye being utterly darkened. And this was a fascinating video, especially after me spending 2 hours and 45 minutes breaking this movie down. The fact that they then came out and did a video. Love it. And so one thing I didn't pick up on is that the eye, get it? The eyeball, the eye. That's why we changed the number 2 to TO. Because everything is a language. So there's the eye for the eyeball, the right eye. And that's where it pops. Now, and that right there makes you think, well, okay, well, he's going down at that solar eclipse date of December 3rd, December 4th. And but when he wakes up on the golf course, because it said October 2nd, and we're pretty sure it was after midnight. All's the rabbit all the rabbit said and what's written on Donnie's arm is 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. That's the day the world will end. It doesn't say anything about that's when Donnie Darko is going to go down. So we can't get tripped up on that, even though we do know that when he goes down, that's when the beginning of the end. That's when the book of Revelation opens. And so you could say that's the ending. So let's continue on. They show more eclipse stuff, you know, with the sun getting blocked out. And I think the trampoline they didn't show is two worlds colliding. It's talking about they are equating that to the eclipse. And then October 2nd pops up. And of course, the 88. Commentary, fair use. I declare fair use. That means they're going to end up putting commercials, of course, on my video, which is fine. Then, of course, there's Donnie, the right eye. And I've seen it before and I'd forgotten it. But when he gets in front of that light, that's another eclipse symbolism that goes to the right eye. Now, if we're right about, or if I'm right about it being the second, and you know, you might think it's the eclipse date, which is fine. And the clock there says what? 9:03, maybe. Which also comes to, let me see, that's 23, 22, 21. So 21:03. But he's going to, when he gets up, it's giving you the right eye, but he's going to block that light, which is giving you more eclipse symbolism. Okay, they come back and show that later then. Then of course there's 724, which is interesting. 2 caps 2 times. This makes you think he gets shot, you know, in the left shoulder and in the eye. And there's Donald 88. Now that's 724. Let's run that date. Let's run that date. By the way, before I get rid of this, did I show you all Donnie Darko questions and answers since March 30th? The scene where they're watching Redskins game on TV shows Doug Williams throwing a pass in slow motion. I just wanted to make sure that we did verify that that occurred before I get rid of this. All right, just wanted to make sure y'all saw that. Wasn't sure if I remembered showing you that. It's a 204-day difference. Is that what's on the bottle? 724. So what I keyed in 724. No, I keyed in 725, 724. It's a 203-day difference. Oh, that's freaky. That's me and that girl combined, that QAnon girl. Yeah, the QAnon girl. Remember, she's 6 times 21 times 1.963. Times that by my number, you get 203. It's our first 3 digits. Yeah. So there's 37. Yay for the church. Yay. It's the 12th prime number. Yay. But yeah, that 203, you know, it doesn't mean anything, obviously. It's 6 months, 22 days. It's 4,872, which means that's my second wife's second progression when she's married to me, which 88 is a 2-digit, but a 3-digit is 872. So it could mean 488 in that language. But if you go backwards to 2021, let's look at that. Yeah, it flips. It's 162 days. Oh, and there's the 888 hours, y'all. 3888. We saw the 388 earlier in the seconds from something. Well, there it is again, 3888 in the hours of this time movement. What was the other time movement where it came up to 38? Was it? I don't know what it was. Maybe it was from hang on, I'll check. Yeah, it's 3888 seconds between the new moon on 2022, January, and the snow full moon of IPEC Goat. Or let's just say the snow full moon. IPEC Goat, that could be showing the wolf full moon now that we're thinking about it. But so the potential event date to the Valentine's Day, but that's why we think it's the snow full moon, all the Valentine stuff. Well, it comes to 3888 seconds. And if you go to 724, which is on the bottle, the last 724 we had, and crash it into what I think is the event date, there's the 388 again. 3888 on the hours. And it's 162 days. Very cool. Could mean absolutely nothing. We do realize that. Let's keep going with the Donnie Darko. Any kind of tell we can look for, we're running stuff through the portal. I mean, we're looking at everything through a whole new world now, a whole new prism with that, you know. Let me knock the sound off so we don't get in any trouble. And here comes the Dukakis. Commentary. I declare fair use. Now this is him blocking out the, I call that the eclipse. I can't see the time on the clock, on his clock, but looks like it's 12:20, which would be 12, and then it would be on the 4 for that particular solar eclipse. But I would have to get back on my TV and really take a look at it. You see the upside down pyramid in Donnie's room, don't you? For the divine feminine. Ta-da! And the right side up, pyramid next to it. Ta-da! You know, just little things we pick up on, but you know, it don't mean, it's just, you know. So, oh, and this is when they were showing Doug Williams on the TV. That's what made me go to the Doug Williams. Oh, this isn't Doug Williams now, though. It made me think of the Doug Williams. Star Spangled Banner comes to 88, and it's just playing on the TV. And then there's Frank, the rabbit. Then here comes your eclipse. And look at that, it's 614. The AI put this at 614, Trump's birthday, as this solar eclipse is taking place, because he be the sun god. You know what I'm saying? Let's slow it way down. There's the eclipse at 614 on Trump's birthday. And there is no on Trump's birthday, though, if World War III is taking place and all that King of the North, King of the South stuff's going on from Daniel 8, I mean Daniel 11, Daniel 10 and 11. As time goes through, and we're all going through World War III, war, famine, death. When it hits on his birthday, it is a super moon. It's a super full moon. So anyway, there's the eclipse taking place, and it says 614. Very good. Love it. Thank you, Artificial Intelligent YouTube site. And his name is Jim Cunningham, which JC initials Jesus Christ. And Trump is. Trump is their version of Jesus Christ. He's the Antichrist. Going to mimic God. I guess we'll go with sound because there's conversation going on.
Oh, where? Into the future. And then what happens? And then he said
it would be the end of the world, and that's stupid.
Then he said the world's coming to an end. Do you think the world is coming to an end?
No, that would be stupid.
No.
Commentary, fair use commentary. That would be stupid.
That's stupid.
That's stupid. Exactly. There's a Jim Cunningham when they say the JC. They'll highlight the initials, JC. Then, of course, they show you the Jesuit stuff, and they explain what the Jesuit, and it's the sun. ISIS horse Set. Trump attended Fordham. So, I mean, this channel really, now this is on the 18th. Oh, I think it showed it. Yeah, it did show it. So let's go back. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Donnie is experiencing what is commonly called a daylight hallucination.
Commentary, fair use commentary. Hang on a second. All right, so they're saying that's the corona, and they don't leave out the 10th. I mean, the 18th, which of course is pivotal, because you go back 8 days, you go up 8 days. That's 88. Through the time portal, you're putting 8 and 8 into the time portal. That's why the 2nd and the 18th are crucial, especially with Donnie Darko. Now that, see, Donnie Darko talked nothing about a time portal on the 10th. Yeah, it did. Golly, that was the stupidest statement ever. On the 10th is when Donnie went to see his professor, and they talked about wormholes and time travel. Good grief. They just gave it all out. They gave the whole movie to us. And going backwards is 8. Going forward, and we already really figured that out because we said it's in increments of 8. From the 2nd to the 10th is an 8. From the 10th to the 18th is the next 8. And then it went to the 24th, and I thought it was 888 because 8 is a third multiple of 24 is a third multiple of 8. Then I later realized, no, they start on the 2nd. It's 886 for the 86ing of the 88. And that's just another reason I'm really big on this, on the 2nd. I mean, there's just too much going on. So it flashes up the 10th. This is when, oh yeah, that's right. That's when he talks to his guy about time travel. My bad. I thought it was the 18th. No, that's the time travel stuff. That's the 18th. And they didn't flash a time on the screen, but that was right in the movie. It flashes October 18th before this happens. This AI cleverly did not give us that, because this AI does not want to give it all away.
Experiencing what is commonly called a daylight hallucination.
That occurred on the 18th, y'all. That's the right eye being utterly darkened. Boom. So you go up 8, you get that October 18th. You go back 8 to October 2nd. That's when he dies. He goes back in time and dies on that day. They go all the way to the 30th, the Halloween party, and then everybody goes to sleep and time travels. Everything goes back. It all gets wiped away. His girlfriend got killed, which represents the church. I'm absolutely positive about that. Beam of light coming from the eye, they said, represents a solar eclipse. Or when it's darkened, a darkened right eye represents a solar eclipse. Commentary, fair use commentary, blah, 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 blah. Commentary.
Common occurrence among paranoid schizophrenics.
And they call that a corona. You know, so they flash that up. See how they yellowed it, and then they're going to call it a corona. Commentary, fair use. And then, of course, triumph comes from the word, or Trump comes from the word triumph, or triumph comes from the word Trump. Trump derived from the word triumph or triumph, the trump card, or the card that will allow you to triumph or victory in the game. And so what you're looking at is Donald Trump. But we knew that. And they point to both of these up there. And I told you these were solar eclipses, or I told you that one was a solar eclipse, but they're really showing you two. And that's because one is December 4th, 2021, and the other is April 20th, 2023, which I guess we need to take a look at those dates. I will pause. You know, when me and that girl, we stayed at this condominium type hotel in Disney. And that's back in my second base, third base days, 2015, when I was dating her. And the condo number was 21502. It was really a hotel. They were twin towers. And just that 502, it catches my eye. That's the 02 for Earl. There's 5, my marriage number. It's 1 year, 4 months, and 16 days. Or it's 16 months and 16 days. This is between the solar eclipse of Donnie Darko, in my opinion, and the solar eclipse of the Abomination of Desolation. The solar eclipse when he goes down. And of course, he would go down 29 days later. You know how it says 28 days, 6. Well, it's actually 29 days to our date. You got an 88 in here in the minutes. You got the 137.53 for a percentage of a common year. I like that, of course. You got a 22. Got another 37. But if you run it to our target date, or my target date, it's 29 days. And of course, he's saying 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. Well, if he's saying that at night, he couldn't be, though. The TV was off, remember? It's past midnight. You just can't make that stretch. You just can't. Whoops. The 12/4 to our date. Oh, I see what I'm trying to say. If I was to make that at 11 o'clock at night. Oops. I still don't think it changes anything. And when you make it like 10 in the morning, Oh, I get it. If you make it. It's still 29 days. In 2 minutes. Yeah, there's no way to fit that in. There's no way to squeeze in 28. Well, yeah, you would. If you made that the 4th. Oh, you would, wouldn't you? Oh. So that's the day of the eclipse. But that doesn't really fit the movie's time frame, in my opinion. You just made that for 12 noon. Because really it's early in the morning. It would be early in the morning on the eclipse. Now you're back to 29 days. So it doesn't, our date, but just remember, something Brandon. Let's go Brandon in gematria came to January 3rd. Well, then you do get it. No, stupid, that adds a day. Never mind. It would have to be New Year's Day, which is them blowing the horns. The Day of the Dead blows the horns, the New Year's horn, the party blower. 28 days. So anyway, if you go up from the eclipse, 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. All right, I finally got this thing queued up to just now add 28 days, 6 hours, 42, 12 from our Eastern time zones. And it would hit on New Year's Day when Trump will be playing golf in the morning. Then you get the new moon the following day. I see you on the dark side of the moon would sure hit that, that's for sure. So I need to go back and watch the movie again to see if there's any chance that if you look at it carefully, did he go down before the clock struck? Did he go down on the 1st, October 1st? Do you follow what I'm saying? And then Frank did the jet crash. Let me think for a second. Let me think this through. By the way, that's the calendar. Remember the calendar that showed it ending at the 15th? Well, this calendar shows it. Another part in the movie, they show the X's ending on the 22nd. And can't remember what part that, it's very late in the movie, but just interesting. No, there's nothing that we can do that would put him before that, because the clock, it shows if what this clip is showing, it shows the clock going midnight, and then it shows October 2nd and him saying wake up. And that keeps him from getting hit by the jet. I want to go back and watch it again, though, just to make sure there's not a trick in there. But I sure like that. I'm sure digging that whole. I mean, look at everything we've run was from the second to like the Hitler date and all that. So I think we're just, and see, now they're showing you that, you know, this YouTube site is showing you that these are two from eclipse to eclipse. And this would be the eclipse he would go down on from the Donnie Darko, adding 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds, which when you add the date from the eclipse, it's 29 days. So I don't know if the jibber jabber, you could theoretically say, well, it's up 28 full days. But when you add the 6 hours and the rest, well, that's into another day, which makes it 29 days. So in other words, it's 28. What the rabbit would be saying is not the way we do correct math, like add it into the calculator. But if Frank's saying in 28 days, and then now I'm going to give you portions of the next day, of another day. So 28 full days. And I mean by marking off a calendar. Because if you, let me see if we can squeeze that in somehow. If we take away the removal of time and we just add 28 days, you get to January 1st from the eclipse. And now you're saying, there's your 28 days. But now we're going to add more time on, which is going to kick you over into the next day. That's theoretically speaking. That's technically speaking. That's trickery. But then that would put us from the eclipse that Donnie was killed on, found on at the golf course. Those are simultaneous. That was all done on October 2nd, which is really January 2nd. But they're saying go up 28 days plus some. And that's what throws you to from the eclipse to January 2nd. Which in reality, Donnie really did go back and die on October 2nd at the end of the movie. Wrap it up. Wrap it up, Trey. Wrap it up. How did I get regular? God, it sounded like regular music. It's double speed.
Frank?
The Last Temptation of Christ, and they're saying that's Christ on the cross. And I heard a song from Crisscross the other day. Remember Crisscross? It was a K and a K, but on their album cover it had a big X across it. When I saw it on my Sirius XM, they'll give you the album covers on there. The Evil Dead and The Last Temptation of Christ was what was playing. Do we need to look at those movies and hope one of them is released on January 2nd or something? Or any date? The Evil Dead Wikipedia. Came out October 15th. The Last Temptation of Christ, Wikipedia. Came out in 1988. August 12th. No Help. Well, it's an 8. And then it's a 12, which could be, remember 12 could be January 2nd, but again, we're stretching stuff. Starting to really stretch. Commentary, fair use commentary. Shut off the sound, see what we get. Oh yeah. I hate that part of the movie because it talks about the guy being framed. You know, and all the people are claiming it was a conspiracy, and I've always waited for that knock at the door for them to toss me. So I'm very uncomfortable when I watch. I am, man. I can't lie to you, because I don't know how bad I've been trolled as far as, you know, because the fallen angels, they know my future.
Kidding.
Like you know, the shirt said God is awesome, you know, and we're the Christian people.
I'm sure that you're aware of the horrible allegations against Jim Cunning.
The horrible allegations.
Yeah.
And I like the way that they shown the sunflower for the corona, for the representation of the solar eclipse. It's pretty cool. It's throughout the movie. So like Heliofont, Donnie Darko is all about the eclipse. All about it.
Time's up, Fraser.
There's a sunflower again. So this movie is solar eclipse, and that's why I tell you this site's an AI site. They see too much stuff. Nobody ever talks. You know, they kept showing, this is the second time they've shown scenes where there's a Porsche 911 and he's in a skeleton outfit, but there were Porsche 911s in there a few times. And so she's dead, but he knows he's going to go back and fix the future, and she's going to be alive. Sound like a gunshot, didn't it, folks?
I can breathe silently. I can only hope that the answers will come to me in my sleep.
Commentary, fair use commentary.
I hope that when the world comes to an end.
The world comes to an end, because remember, it has to crash, and then Phoenix must arise from the ashes and rebuild. Through destruction, you rebuild. Donnie even said in the movie.
I can breathe a sigh of relief.
Because
there will be so much to look forward to.
So much to look forward to. When the world comes to an end, so much to look forward to. Well, yeah. Because it's after war, famine, and death that the Antichrist takes the stage. Now that sounded like a rifle shot, the way it was sort of echoing delayed.
Because there will be so much to look forward to.
Commentary, fair use. I declare fair use. Does, doesn't it? Sure sounds like a long rifle shot hitting that right eye. And it says, this is how the world will end. Well, it's the right eye. It's how the world will end. And they already said that the right eye being darkened is a solar eclipse, and vice versa. So that's how the world will end when Trump goes down with his right eye. That's what they're telling you. Because that's the name of the video. This is how the world will end. And the right eye was shown constantly, along with a solar eclipse, which they equated to being the same thing. All right, anyway, love y'all very much. Good stuff.